lawmakers prepare to outline what they describe as Donald Trump's relentless pressure campaign against his own vice president, Mike Pence is speaking out.
I'll always believe that I did my duty that day. And I know in my heart of hearts I did. And I believe that when all the information and the facts come forward, the American people will better understand what occurred.
What's up, everybody? Major Retired Richard Ojeda here. And quote, "We have to kill the narrative that the vice president is making all the decisions." Those are Mark Meadows, Donald Trump's chief of staff's words to General Milley in reaction to the siege on the Capitol on January the 6th. Not stop this, not get the military out here or get the National Guard out here. Those words were spoken by Mike Pence. For all of you who don't think Donald Trump holds no blame in the events and was so innocent and naive that it never entered his mind that people might get violent, then why in God's name did we hear absolutely nothing from him in response to this attack? His vice president was the one responding, and his chief of staff was working to color the narrative. How American.
The chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff has testified that it was Pence, not Donald Trump, who called the Pentagon when the Capitol was under siege.
There were 2 or 3 calls with Vice President Pence. He was very animated, and he issued very explicit, very direct, unambiguous orders. There was no question about that. Get the military down here. Get the Guard down here.
By contrast, here is General Milley's description of his conversation with President Trump's chief of staff, Mark Meadows, on January 6th.
He said, we have to kill the narrative that the vice president is making all the decisions.
But we know how you MAGA morons operate. You hate America. You divorced America and took up with the object of your lust, the fat orange fascist. You revere him as your very own Snow White virgin, pure and unadulterated. Trump can do no wrong. From the moment he walked out and pledged his hatred of minorities and then proceeded to hump the American flag, you went head over heels for this revolting tangerine crap stain.
Former Attorney General Bill Barr saying when it came to claims of a stolen election, Trump didn't care about the truth.
When I went into this and would tell him how crazy some of these allegations were, there was never an indication of interest in what the actual facts were.
If you don't see a problem in the picture of Trump doing nothing but chickening out and having his chief of staff try to play politics, save face for his crime boss, then guess what? You are what's wrong with this country, period. Donald Trump is so blatantly guilty of inciting that riot. It's sickening to see people can be so dumb, so blind, so un-American that they will look the other way.
The committee says Trump and his allies conned supporters into donating some $250 million to fight the election results.
So not only was there the big lie, there was the big ripoff.
It's like an open and shut murder case that tens of millions of people witnessed occur live, where the court hearings is nothing more than a formality and it's on to sentencing. But in this case, because it's your little right-wing crime family who has blood all over their hands, we've got people on the side of the murder. How sick is that? This is American justice, people, not politics. Weren't you morons supposed to have voted for Trump because he wasn't a politician? Well, guess what? He plays dirty politics worse than any person in human history, barring Adolf Hitler, and he's not even far off from that. It's such a sad situation. It sounds like we're heaping praise and credit on Mike Pence for simply doing what is required of him by law, to have his people testify before the committee, and the bare minimum of what's required by human decency to cooperate with an investigation into an attack against our own country, on our own soil, on our own Capitol building. Pence didn't submit to the full-out Trump fascism, but for 4 years he bent and twisted tighter than a pretzel to do everything to allow it to fester into the disease that culminated into the attempted coup of January the 6th. It's great that Pence is fully cooperating with these investigations. The people, that's the bare minimum. To allow anything less is being complicit with treason. Not only is Trump the worst partisan political actor in the history of America, but each and every one of you MAGA fools are nothing more than his broken political poodles. You morons are the ones who've perverted politics. You morons have created corruption, and it's you morons that are killing American democracy. If you mindless, soulless cowards broke out of your MAGA shackles and stood on your own 2 feet for once in your lives and denounced treason when it's smack dab in front of your face, it would solve all the problems you idiots claim to care about. The swamp would be drained, America would be great again, and politicians would know they can pull the wool over people's eyes anytime that they want. Because guess what, you morons? Your blushing orange bride is abusing you like you're his $2 escort. And that's a fact. Sappers clear the way, airborne on.